Hello, welcome in. Oh, my mic's working. Yes, just checking. I did a meeting right before this stream, and every now and then it doesn't want to switch over, and unfortunately there's nothing better than just touching the mic to figure out if it's working, so hello, welcome in. We already have Duke and Paint here in the chat, love to see it. I actually have a poll for you guys today, I'm kind of curious. I'm just drinking water, which is kind of boring, but I feel like fall is like the time for like different fun drinks and stuff, so I'm kind of curious what's your like ultimate fall cozy drink or whatever. I have hot chocolate, pumpkin spice latte, obviously, apple cider, and maple whiskey. Very curious if you guys have a fall drink or not, or if you're just like, it's just another month. Alright, today we're going to be working in Marvelous Designer for as long as I can have content to share. We'll see how far my expertise brings me today. I've made a lot of progress, but at the end of the day I have almost more than seven years in ZBrush, and I have like 7 days in Marvelous, so I might hit my skill ceiling quite quickly today. We'll see. Gosh, now that I have this poll up, I'm gonna text my husband and see if he's not busy, if he can make me coffee. He's such a good sport. He might already be in the chat. We'll see. I'm gonna send him a quick text. Also, I want to see if I can get this background visible. There was an iPhone update that allows you to change the background of your conversations with whoever. And our dog's super ugly, so we made it our dog. Oh my goodness, it's very difficult. There we go. Do you see him? He was sneezing. It was a mid-sneeze. God, he looks even more demonic on the screen. His eyes aren't normally white, but the rest of it's quite accurate. Oh, there. If you guys want to see my super secret chat with my husband, it's just me talking to him about the new shiny Pokemon that I caught. When I play D&D, I play online. So I just kick back, I have D&D on my laptop, and then I play on my Switch and shiny hunt usually. So, yeah. Yes, I did. I texted my personal barista, which is my husband. Is barista the term for a man too? Baristo. Hello, Taka. Welcome in. Welcome in. Ooh, in the lead here, we got hot chocolate. Oh, I'd be okay with that too. In case he doesn't want coffee. You guys are influencing me today. Oh, goodness. All right, well, that's pretty much all of the greetings and whatnot. Let's just get right to it. Okay. The first thing that's kind of weird with me in Marvelous is that I can't decide if I'm going to use a pen or not. I have a big old tablet in front of me. This is a Cintiq. No, you do not need this. It's expensive. They actually released a new Cintiq that's only like $1,000 plus US dollars. Oh, sweet, it is hot chocolate. Awesome. And yeah. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, Cintiq is very expensive. It's very nice, but you don't need one. So I can't decide if I'm going to be using a mouse or if I'm going to be using a pen. I'm using Marvelous, so you can use either. Your pen pretty much functions as a mouse. Hello, thank you.
Hot chocolate.
Awesome. Paint says it's really rainy and tired. Really rainy today and tired. Yeah, it is that here as well, except I'm not tired. I'm actually feeling really good today. So yes. Duke says, I don't know, but I use dude as a gender neutral term. Same. Same. And again, the way that I talk is very heavily dependent on who I'm around. That's why streaming, I kind of have like this like softer tone. Like I don't really talk like this anywhere except for my streams. I guess it's not that different. Anyway, like to talk to my neighbors and stuff, it gets a bit more at that kind of like southern lilt to it. And then I was talking to my friend Walker last night on FaceTime, and we're both from California, and suddenly it's just little valley girl, bruh. I haven't called someone unironically bruh in forever. Which is more of like, I'll do that. If I'm reading like an email from a really dumb email, I'll be like, bruh, seriously. I don't get that super often. But yeah. If I had like interesting, like spicy client stories, I would absolutely tell you guys about them. You guys are really nice to me. I really don't get any mean emails or dumb people. And honestly, if I do, I usually just ignore them. So I guess it doesn't help. I can always tell. I give someone one email buffer, because if something's not working and someone emails me and they're kind of bitchy or whatever, I get it. I do, because I feel like if you're dealing with customer service, kind of naturally makes you combative, or maybe that's just me. I don't know. I feel like a lot of customer service is awful. And so people have to they come up with their guns blazing, ready to argue their stance. And then I'm like, I don't fight people. I'm like, yeah, I got you. I fixed it. And then they're so sweet and happy. It's funny. It's very Jekyll and Hyde. But that doesn't make for an interesting stream story. So, yeah. Mia the chameleon. Yeah. Paint says, you've said breath in stream a couple times. I have. That does sound right. All right. Enough chattering. My goodness. Immediately wants to chatter more. Oh, I'm crocheting again. So maybe I'll start crocheting on some of these streams if I'm really going to hang out and just do a whole lot of nothing. But today we're doing something. All right. Welcome to Marvelous Designer, and welcome to the TAVERB. Hello, my beautiful peasants. I didn't properly greet you. We are going to try to design this dress. Big disclaimer, I barely know what I'm doing in Marvelous. And I'm not saying that to be cute and oh, don't be mean to me. No, if you're watching this to learn, you're going to learn with me. Because usually my streams are very content heavy in ZBrush, and you can really learn a thing or two. Take everything here with a huge grain of salt. This is for vibes. This is not a tutorial. All right. This is Marvelous. You have 3 different views you need to know about. This is your 3D window. This is your 2D window. We make garments in the 2D and they materialize in the 3D. It's very cool. Obviously, we need a body first. If you click Y, it will bring up, wow, immediately in the wrong spot. Come here. It'll bring up this library right here. You can also toggle that on and off with this big gold button at the upper. It's right up here. You just can't see it. I'm not going to change my thing. Yay. Oh, and marshmallows.
Oh, of course.
Thank you. You can't. Oh, I know better than to sip it right away. I have a heated coffee cup, and we have a Keurig. Yeah, it's too hot. It needs to wait for 10 minutes. Anyway, so the first thing, I come in here, I grab one of the default avatars. I am just tickled that one of the default avatars is Mia. That's my name if you didn't know. I feel like you guys know that. Anyway, so I always pick Mia because I think it's funny. Also, I see no visible difference between Mia, Naomi, and Yuna, except for skin tone, I think. Fun fact, whenever I'm making characters, whether it's D&D or whatever, what have you, I tend to pick Naomi because if you rearrange the letters, it's no Mia or Mia no, and I think that's really funny. So the fact that it's Mia Naomi, I find extremely funny. Okay, here we are. And now we gotta make the garment. I'm gonna start with the skirt because that's a huge confidence booster for me because I think I know how to do that. So let's try it. The first thing we're gonna do is start to create that belt. Where you construct things in the 2D viewer is not super important. You can just use it as a guide for rough sizes. All right, so I'm gonna come up here, click on rectangle. And I'm just gonna draw a little rectangle. And now it should magically materialize in the 3D view. There you go. See? All right, the next step here is I need there to be a front and a back to the belt. So I'm gonna hit Command C, Command V. And there we go. Now there are 2 pieces. I don't know where I'm going to put this freaking reference. So if you guys think of a better spot, let me know. As of now, it's going to keep floating as long as it's not my way. All right. So if you try to sew this together right now, these panels are side by side. So not a whole lot's going to happen. So you want to, I don't know what axis I'm looking at. Anyway, we want to flip it 180 degrees. If I hold down Shift, it seems to have a similar snapping function like ZBrush does. Fun fact, if you learn 1-3D software, there is some universal hotkeys that seem to talk to each other, which is nice. All right, we're gonna sew these 2 pieces together and then simulate. You can sew in the 2D or 3D window. The 2D window I think is witchcraft, so I usually try to stick to the 3D window because, gee, I'm a 3D artist. All right. Let's go ahead and grab our sewing machine here. I don't really know what the difference is between these 2 buttons, but we're gonna start in the 3D window. All right, I'm gonna go to segment sewing. Oh, also, so they have a sister software called Clo 3D. It's made by the same people, I'm 90% sure. You don't have to pay more for it. So it's more expensive. Marvelous has everything that you need is what I'm trying to say. If you just want to experiment and have fun. If you actually want to go to manufacturing and stuff, that's a bit different. Hello, Aloha. Oh, thanks for the donation. I don't know if it's going to pop up or not. It should. But thank you, Aloha. I don't have a TAVERB menu open today. I don't have anything for you to purchase, but I appreciate it very much anyway. I guess I can just take money. Yeah. I can hear Seder in my head being like, just take it. I'm like, okay. Thank you. Oh, goodness. Oh, speaking of, there are commands, Aloha. I put them in the Discord. Can you see if any of those work? I don't know if they're going to work or not. I can try one of them. Like our Discord should work. Yeah. Ooh, Toda's here and has strong opinions. Oh, I like it. Toda says anyone who votes anything other than apple cider is wrong. Cider is a fall drink. Hot cocoa is a winter drink. I will die on this hill. Welcome in, Toda. You know what? You're right. I didn't just word it as like cold drinks or like, I meant cold drinks. Warm drinks for cold seasons. I said fall. I mean, we could argue though that the winter drink would be eggnog, right? I don't like eggnog, but I feel like that's like the quintessential winter drink. All right, sweet. They all seem to work. Yay. Thank you, Loa. All right, the belt is done. Thanks for coming to the stream. No, I'm just kidding. That's pretty much all I know how to do confidently though. So everything from here is pretty much like, we'll see. So I noticed that it's a little loose, right? And yeah, the way that you fix that is literally coming over to your view over here and making it smaller. Just like that. So it's a bit smaller. We'll re-simulate it and it should be tighter now. Yeah, see how it kind of moved up? Pretty cool. It looks like it's kind of falling on itself right there. There we go. All right. Now I feel like it's too tight. So we're gonna kind of look at our reference here. See how it's kind of like this slope? Kind of complicated. So I'm just gonna undo what I did here to where it's a lower set. I just want to see if I could make it smaller. And I could. Great, that's perfect. Now let's make this actual like skirt portion. Empress says, is this going to be 3D printable? You betcha. I can't tell if that was a genuine question or if you were just being silly, but yes. Empress says, I was just watching Mia and now Mia's interrupting, shaking my head. Oh, that's right, you've been watching my older streams, yeah. Oh my goodness. All right, here we go. Let's do another rectangle. So there's two layers here. We have this orange underlayer, and then we have this beautiful black layer, which is split. So we'll just make the tube, like the orange one, because that shouldn't be very complicated. I think I can just do a panel like this, and then I don't need to be a symmetrical pattern or anything. I just need it to be kind of long. So I'll do a front and back panel just like before, and then we'll edit it from there. Because honestly, I'm not really sure what this would look like as a 2D pattern, which is part of the fun, isn't it? One of the best things you can do in Marvelous is just look up real life patterns. But if you're like me and you have a shit memory, unless you literally did it yourself, well, learn one thing and then start iterating from that, and then maybe you'll remember it. I'm a good problem solver. Not a very good rememberer. All right, what is the sewing hotkey? It doesn't say there is one, but over here the sewing hotkey is B. Will that work on both viewports? It does. Neato. Okay. Nothing's happening. Why is nothing happening? Did you just post Morgan? You did. I recognized that dress immediately. This is in our Discord. Aloha is sharing references from ball gowns. So many fun corset and a dress thingy. Yes. Also, you did that on purpose. You know I love Dragon Age. Thank you. That was sweet of you. Toda says it'd be a massive semicircle. I could see that too. And then Toda said, is the avatar supposed to look like M? It's uncanny. I love it. Her name is Mia, but I don't think she looks anything like me. I don't know. deadpan glue. I can't even do this. I'm trying to do deadpan. I don't think she looks anything like me, but I'm also like colorblind. I'm not actually, but we do this all the time with my husband, where like if we're designing something together, until it's like literally finished, I have like no vision, which is very funny because I'm an artist. All right, continuing to sew. I'm not sure why the panels aren't working. Very funny to me. Oh, edit sewing. So B is the shortcut for edit sewing. I needed to click N. Ah. It's so important that you get comfortable with hotkeys in whatever software that you're working in. It'll just make you happier. Oh, I didn't connect it anywhere, so it's just falling off of her. Okay, let's fix that. All right. So instead, what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to sew the sides first. I'm going to sew this segment to this segment. Yeah. All right, cool. That worked. And then we'll do this side. There we go. Let's see if I'll... Okay, it's kind of pulling off of her. I'll just kind of scooch it back up. So it's interesting because you can see like the weight is going to be an issue here. It's actually fitting really nicely. Well, cool. All right, now let's go ahead and sew the sides of this. All right, I sew that side. And then this side. Awesome. So it doesn't have quite the shape that I'm wanting it to be here. So let's go ahead and adjust that. What I'm going to do is click on the letter Z, so I can edit this pattern, and I'm going to kind of just taper it and see how that does. I would like the front and the back, I think, to be symmetrical. So I'm going to click on these two, and then right click, and then match up these measurements to be the same. I want them to both be the long measurement, so I'll click OK. Oh, interesting, it didn't preserve the angles though, so it's all crooked. Yeah, I don't know how else to fix that. We'll see what it looks like, because then I know what it looks like. I'm gonna resimulate, and it looks kind of goofy, but it's figuring it out. Oh, yep, there we go. Okay, interesting. It's kind of crinkly right here, and I don't know why. It's probably, oh, something else nice and marvelous is if I click right here, it'll show where I clicked in the 2D views. I can see where the problem is. And sure enough, the problem is where it's not symmetrical. So I'm actually gonna undo the matchup measurement, because that could be interesting too. Resimulate. Interesting, so it's kind of creating like a ruched effect, which makes sense. Whenever you have a longer sewn line connected to a shorter one, you can get those folds. Very cool. Duke said, did the edge of the skirt fall or move with physics? That is so cool. Isn't it so cool? Marvelous is heckin' cool. Tata says, does Marvelous have preset garments? Preset, pre-made, pre-existent, not sure how to say it. You are correct on all fronts. And yes, it does. And I have a bunch of them. I just know I need to learn how to make them myself too, so. Tota says, big dress like this would be poofy from a crinoline cage underneath it to support the fabric. That makes sense. I can also make the fabric made out of like leather to make it stiff, so it'll have a similar effect. You are correct though, but stiffening the fabric will also give me the same effect. Ooh, Tota, look at you just knowing all this cool shit. Doesn't surprise me. I still love it. Ooh, you guys are sharing all kinds of fun art in the Discord. Good, I love to see that. Oh, from Fable 3. Yep, I played the heck out of that. I didn't like the first few Fable games. Even if they were better, I don't care. I didn't think they were fun. I'm really excited for the new Fable. It's coming out one day, right? I don't know how I would sew a circle to a line. Tota said something interesting here, which is like what this would look like. She pretty much just gave me the answer. And then I tried to do something else and it didn't work. I gotta just try it. You said it would look like a large semicircle, right? Paint didn't like Fable 1 or 2, but love 3. Hey! We both have bad taste. Right, the third one was just fun, but according to the internet, we have bad taste. That's okay. I'm happy. All right, where was Toda's answer? Why can't I find it? I think I've read everything Toda said. I can't find it. Oh well, we're gonna do a circle skirt because I want to see how that works. And I don't know how to do it. Oh, Reefer's here. Hello, hello. Welcome in. The commands work. You have some power again. All right. So we'll do an ellipse. I have never done that before. Ooh, neat. Oh yeah, how would I cut a hole out? I don't know. I drew another one. I'm gonna right click on it because that seems to be the way to go. It's not doing the things. Oh, here we go. Right click. I think I have a cut option because I've seen cut and sew before. I don't see it. It's always fun when you're learning new software because you'll have like your one tool, and then when you don't have your one tool or you can't find it, you're like, well, that's it for me, folks. Oh, that was the wrong thing. See how this is also like it's filled in? That means it's not an internal line, which means, of course, I can't subtract from it. We can't Boolean fabrics. What I should have done was come up here to an internal ellipse. This was gonna look identical. I know, it's confusing, but it's different because it's not, see, it's just a line with nothing inside of it. It's not actually fabric. So now if I right click, it should, there we go, cut. Oh, wait, there was another button that said convert to whole. Check that out. Can I move it around? Will it update live? Probably not, because I'd have to remesh. Oh my gosh, it does update live. Just so fucking cool. Okay. Will it snap? Oh good, because I don't want to measure anything. There we go. Heck yeah. All right, I have a skirt now. It's not a semicircle. It's just a literal circle, which I know is how skirts can work. I have no idea how to sew a circle to the belt. Come here. Why are you flipping? So you can notice like on one side of the fabric, it's light. On the other side, it's dark. So every fabric, even in real life, has like a pretty side and an off side. Like if you look at anything you're wearing pretty much, like look at your clothes and then like fold it inside out, it always looks a little bit different. Same premise. Aloha says, so kind of like Boolean, but kind of not. Same, but different. Exactly. And then Toda says, I'm not sure where to paste the link in Discord. Oh, Blueprint. Oh, yes. I'm going to tag you. Toda. Right, you're not that 1-3D artist. You're Toda. Why can't I find you? There you are. I tagged you on where you can post it, where I'll see it. It's in our TAVERB Peasant Hub. All right, we're gonna move this over here. That looks about right. And now I need to figure out how to sew these two together, which I'm really excited about because I haven't done that yet. Have I seen tutorials that show how to do this? Absolutely, but I didn't actually do it myself, so I won't remember. Alrighty. Oh, here we go. Oh, there's the skirt. And it's on Pinterest. Bonus points. Ah. Well, if these are, so are these two pieces not symmetrical? I guess not. The radius looks a little different. Heckin' cool. Also, before anyone asks, can you make garments in Marvel's Designer and then sew them in real life? Yes, you can. And if you really want to do that, that's where Clo 3D comes in instead. It has some more tools and it's a bit more accurate. Don't ask me questions past that because I don't really know. Aloha said, Mia, when you moved your work from Marvelous into ZBrush, did you have the geometry as a bunch of little triangles and crinkly? Oh yes, it looked like ass. But use Dynamic Subdiv and it looks a lot better. Also, something you can do, double click on a garment that you have. You can come down here to where it says mesh type. Instead of having triangle, you can actually click on quads, optimize, or grid. It just makes everything slow as shit, so I don't do that. All right, how am I gonna sew these together? I don't know. So I need this circle skirt to attach to this, which I know how to do sometimes. There's different kinds of sewing. We have segment sewing, free sewing, check sewing. Like, I feel like segment free sewing? I like I'm asking questions and you guys are like, I don't know. I'm gonna just do this. So press enter, and then can I like just go across this? You can see it's starting to show what's happening in the 2D viewer or 3D viewer. I know my dimensions. How do I sew across 2 segments? Oh, I figured it out. You just click. All right, now click enter, and now I'll do the same thing. Ooh, check that out. Did you guys see that? I'm gonna keep doing it so no one misses it because it's really cool. Do you see this? What? It does look like it's getting a little twisted, so I don't know if it's gonna work. Okay, it fused to her hands, which I didn't anticipate that being an issue, and it's twisted. I mean, it's cool. Empress, person struggling. I don't even work here, ma'am. It's giving the like, ma'am, this is Wendy's kind of. Oh, goodness. Aloha says, yes, there it is, that damn option. Thank you. You're so welcome. All right, I'm gonna see if my hot chocolate is safe to drink. Again, the Keurig is so freaking hot, and then I have that fancy heated cup. I know. Yes, it is good. Thank you, honey, if you're watching. All right, let's see if I can fix this. So the quick answer is I know I can just pull it out of her hand. Wow, you're being fun. I can just like rip it out. However, ooh, what is happening here? I don't know. It looks like it got so twisted that the wrong side of the belt is showing now. So we're just gonna undo all of this. I really encourage you, when you guys are learning how to do something, try not to only find the brute force answer. Like, for example, I mentioned like when I simulate here, it's grabbing onto the hands, right? What I need to learn how to do is to hide parts of the avatar, but still have it simulate correctly. So I'm gonna figure that out. Shift A. Wow, holy shit, that worked. Just made that up. I recommend that too. So I did Shift A because A for avatar, and like maybe it'll hide it, and sure as shit, it does. I don't know if it'll simulate correctly now, but I'm very tickled that that worked. I think what I actually need to happen is to hide just like a body part. So if I right click on these arms here, maybe I can hide just these. No, that didn't work. If I deactivate it, I don't know. Anyway, learn something. Reaper, oh, we have an agreement for Toda. Hot chocolate is only for winter. Apple cider is where it's at for fall. I don't have any cider, so. Oh, thank you for giving me the Paint Talk Me in Discord, that meme, but ma'am, this is the Wendy's. Yeah, I love that. Oh, goodness. Okay, excuse me. All right, we're gonna do this sewing thing again, but not fucked up. I'm gonna try again, but we're gonna do something different. Otherwise, the same thing's gonna happen. I don't remember I did the first time though. I think I did segment sewing, so this time I'm gonna try free sewing. Okay, I have a line. I have another line. Do those talk to each other? No. Okay. Then we'll do segment sewing, which makes more sense. I think free sewing is for sewing on within the same garment. Segment sewing is my best friend. If you guys can't tell, it's the only thing I've really gotten to work consistently, so now I use it for everything. All right, we have this, and now I want that to connect to this other one. Oh, can I just click the whole segment? I've been clicking the points. I guess I don't want to sew to the point. I want to sew the whole segment. Yes, enter. Why does it look so twisted? I don't know what the right answer is. And then when I go from left to right, it kind of does like a left point and a right point. You guys see that little vertical green line that's moving? I don't know what that means. I think that one looks less twisted, and that looks worse. So I'll click on that one. Excuse me. Goodness. And then same thing over here. What looks less fucked up? This would probably help me immensely if I just lowered the skirt a little bit. Okay, this looks better than last time, see? And then I'm gonna pull it off of the hands, even though I know I need to find like the actual way to do that, but this does currently work. I'm just keeping that a note in my head that that is not sustainable. All right, so it's a little screwed up right here. but why? What's cool is you can simulate it, kind of pull the line out, and then restart the simulation. So let's see if that tells me anything. Yeah, it's a little twisted. So let me do another thing to learn. I'm gonna select this segment here. So A is a hotkey for that. And then we're gonna move it down. And my hope for this is that I'll actually be able to like see the difference. I also wonder if the size is an issue because it is kind of a bit small. But if anything, it'll look a little ruched. So I think that'd be fine. Ooh, Toda knows marvelous. This is really helpful. Toda says, if you measure the length of the hip of the ankle bone, you will have the base starting measurement for a floor-length skirt. If you want a draping skirt, you need to make a soft teardrop shape pattern. The line tells you how it will sew onto the garment. It's for direction, if you are sewing left to right or right to left. Oh, I have noticed that's important. Like if I sew one thing from left to right, whatever I'm attaching it to, I also need to do left to right, otherwise it's flipped. Okay, we're connecting some dots here. And then Reaper says, shame upon your cow, Mia. No cider, no like. Isn't that from Mulan? Dishonor on your family, dishonor on your cow. Anyway, love you, Reaper. I'll have you know I'm listening to the new Taylor Swift album. Also, Seder was correct. It is quite good, but it is not as good as Tortured Poets Department, which, I mean, go figure, that was like an anthology of 30 songs, and this is just like only 10 or 11. But it's still quite good. Tara says, don't know Marvel's hotkeys. I used to do it a lot. I lost knowledge because I didn't use it, but I know how to sew in real life. I also know how to sew in real life, but just like specific things like buttons, hemming, corsets, because that's the only thing I really worked on. Yeah. Sounds good. Aloha says, I'm gonna go sleepy, but hope you guys are doing good. Of course, of course. Have a good nap or a big sleep. Either way, I forget what time zone that you're in. All right. I'm gonna make this hole a bit larger. It would be smarter if I measured, but we're not gonna do that because I'm kind of just eyeballing stuff right now, which I think is fine for right now because I don't even know how to do basics yet. So it being accurate within an inch, I don't think it's going to save me. Okay, back to more sewing. Thank you guys for hanging out with me while I learn. A part of me feels guilty because I'm like, oh, this isn't as like high quality content because I don't know what I'm doing. But you guys are very sweet, so thank you. Okay, back to segment sewing. And then this time I think it'll be a little easier for me. Oh, there's that line, it shows up each time. I need to pay more attention. So I'll have it on the right side every time. Excellent. Or on the far side. So that's all selected. And now it should be a little easier to see how it's going to connect right here because I have it selected. Maybe I need to just freaking do this in the 3D viewer. The girl does not understand 2D yet. What's new? See, I feel like it's immediately twisted. Because it is. Here, I have a new idea. We're gonna just sew this front segment to the front of the skirt and the back segment to the back of the skirt. And I think that's gonna be just fine. So click here, enter, that'll be our first segment, and then click here, and then enter again. Now, do the thing correctly. Why is this wrong? But it was a lot closer, do you guys see that? All right, again, N, because we're learning hotkeys as well. I think N is correct. No, it's not. I don't know the difference between these two. Okay. Picks one at random. It's on the right side here, and then we'll click on the right side here, and then also the right side. See how if I swap these little lines right here, thank you, Toda. Like that's crooked, and then that's straight. So you just have to be intentional. See, why are you crooked again? We just talked about this, and you looked happy. I'll click enter and see if it's just nice to me. It was. Cool. Yay, we did it! I finally got this to connect correctly. It's droopy because it's too heavy, so it's pulling. But I did it. Oh, because the back is not sewn to anything. That's why it's just falling off. Not that kind of skirt. Goodness. Okay. we're gonna sew the back as well. I don't think I need to undo the simulation, so I'm not going to. Again, we're gonna click on the right side. And I guess this would be backwards because it's the back of it. Oh, I didn't click enter. Enter. I click enter because that's how I'm telling it, like, oh, that's the end of that segment. So see, it's all twisted. Yeah, I knew I was gonna do that. I wanted to play it anyway just to see. Why did you do that? Because on my viewport, you were not crooked. I'm asking a lot of questions. I don't expect you guys to have the answers. I'm just, yeah. Oh, Monkey's here. Hello, hello. Monkey says, these streams are starting later for me too. Oh no. I'm way more active early. Like leave my house, pick up my child spawn in 20 minutes. So it weighs heavy on my heart. I can stream a little bit earlier. I've been picking 2 because it's been like a slam dunk, like really easy for me to start. But if you guys miss me streaming at noon, that can absolutely be done again. Talk amongst yourselves. Toda says, if you don't have enough length, your fabric will bunch. You should be able to lock the fabric on your avatar by pinning it, and it will help with sewing. I know I can do that. Yes, and rendering. And Frisk is like, yeah, we did it. Now we gotta get the right length, which I know how to do that. Yes. Duke says, I mean, does it matter if her cheeks are hanging out if there's another layer on top of it? I like how you think, but we're gonna do better than that. All right, I'm gonna undo that initial simulation just so it doesn't fall apart. All right, and now we're gonna do this other sewing section. All right, click, enter, and then we're not gonna be all twisted and fucked up. See, fucked up? Fine. Wait, now I feel like it's lying to me. Toda, I'm sorry, I'm calling you in. I'm phoning in a friend. Why, when I click on this and click enter, when I look in the 2D view, do you see how that looks? That looks correct, right? And then when I make it what I think is wrong, it's correct. The heck is up with that? Like, what? Doesn't make any sense. Maybe I need to do the whole section before I start worrying about direction. Regardless, this is why I have the 3D view. I'm gonna click once because I think that's correct, and then I'm gonna click again. Oh, I don't understand. But I understand the 3D view. I'm gonna click enter. It's straight. This is all gonna bunch up correctly. What did I say? But I only knew that because I could see it in the 3D view, and I feel like I should really learn both sides. Meep. Okay, I'm gonna shorten the belt because it's falling off of her body. I'm gonna select all of the garments here. Can I do Command A for like select all? Yes, Command A. Remember that one, peasants. All right, and then I can click on this, click again, and I can move it upwards. And that should help the simulation for when I make this belt a touch smaller. Toda says, trust the 3D view. Thank you, I think I just needed permission for that. Immediately, I'm like, oh, I'm such a hack, I don't even understand the 2D view. Empress, it cracks me up because like a lot of the ways that Empress learns and thinks is very similar to how I learn and think, so it's probably really fun for her to watch this and see I'm doing the same thing. Immediately again, I'm like, oh, such a hack. I don't understand the 2D view. It's okay. All right. Thank you, Toda. I needed that permission. All right. We are going to make the belt smaller. How are we going to do that? Click Z. That's the hotkey for editing a pattern. And we're simply going to click and drag and scoot that on in. I didn't make it symmetrical. I'm not too concerned about that. I just know I want it to be a little smaller. We're going to simulate again, and it should, there you go. See, it didn't fall all the way down like last time. Yay. Toda says, then your belt might be backwards facing in the 2D view. Oh, you were correct. That's exactly what it is. Oh, duh, because this is the front part of the belt, and I know that because if I click on it, check it out, it highlights, right? And then this is the back portion. Let me show that to you guys. Front, back. So on the front view here, left is left and right is right. But this is actually flipped because it's been rotated 180 degrees. So this is right and that's left. Ah, that makes so much sense now. Thank you. Toda says, Mia, we need your VR helmet so Mama Toda can help you. I'll get right on that. Mikey says, I mean, selfishly, yes, noon is best, but you are not here to conform to my parenthood time schedules. You do you. No, I get you. I totally understand that. I would not offer if I didn't have it in me to offer, but you are correct. That wasn't always true. So I appreciate you saying that. I'm doing better with those things. What are they called? Boundaries. Oh, goodness. Monkey said, but I will always be there for the nooners. Reaper says, Mia obeys the peasant's will. She has no choice. Boundaries. No, I'm just joking. My mods, especially Reaper. Reaper, it helped me a lot with just like, just say no. Just do less. What do you... Satyr too, and he was like, you don't have to do anything people donate. Just... I'm like, oh, okay. That cracks me up. Okay. I'm very happy that that worked. And now we need to fix the length issue. And with that, I think all we need to do is simply select this outer circle and just make it longer. But I'm a little confused with that because if I do that, there'll be even more fabric. Also, can we just change the color of this so we can pretend like I've gotten more done than I have? I would like that. All right, this is actually close to each other, so I can kind of, let's see. Oh, that's pretty spot on. Maybe a little more saturated. We'll call that good. Apply. Apply and close. Cool. All right. It's only taken me 45 minutes to do a circle skirt. No, I'm joking. I mean, not really. I've also been talking a lot, but we're learning together. All right, how can I make just the outside line larger? Let's click Z. Ooh, check that out. I can move just that line. Ooh, that's cool. Okay, what's the front? That's the front. I think it'd be cool if it was like a high-low kind of thing. Check that out. Oh, that's cool. That's not the design at all, but it's cool. All right, we're gonna select this piece here because it's kind of getting close to the belt and it's confusing me. So how can I adjust all of these symmetrically? Probably just have to select them, that's it. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm gonna hold down Shift because that's kind of like the universal select all, and now click and drag. It didn't work. They're all moving together. Okay. I don't know how to do this. How do I select the curve? I don't know. Here, I can probably freeze this internal line and then do the rest of it. I can't. I might figure this out. Paint says, you question, do you want it to be flat rather than wavy? If I wanted it to be flat, I'd have to just adjust the amount of fabric that's going to be here, which I would need to do panels, which Toad has already given me the answer in Discord. So let's go ahead and just do a little better. Let's go ahead and cut some panels into this and then I'll have a little bit more control. And I know how to do that using internal lines. So I'll click G for an internal line. Please click within the pattern. Okay. Let's go look at what Toad shared. I don't know if I can have multiple things pinned on my screen. We're gonna find out. We're learning all kinds of stuff together today. I mean, this one is wavy, it's not flat, but I still think it'll give me more control. Oh, I can't have multiple things pinned. Oh, neato. There we go. So see that? All right. Where's my entire design? What the heck happened? F for frame? Hey, that works, cool. Again, a lot of 3D softwares have like universal buttons. Okay, so the front we're gonna leave alone. We're actually gonna just cut here. Did I click enter? Yes. All right, I'm gonna right click on that and then there should be an option to like cut and sew. I did that earlier for the hole. Yes, cut and sew. Oh no, just cut? No, cut and sew is fine. So what does cut and sew do? Cut and sew will make it so there's now going to be a seam there, but it's still connected. If I just hit cut, then they'd be two separate flaps. All right, I think, yeah, G is the shortcut for this. We'll go straight across so it's symmetrical. Click enter, back to A. So I noticed that whenever you're interacting with a pattern, you want to go back to this like select tool a lot, which is the hotkey for that is A. Otherwise things don't behave the same. All right, we're gonna do cut and sew again. All right, so I now have a little bit more control over these sections in a way that I understand a little bit more. See, like I can now change the size of these. Interesting. Reaper says, cut and sew takes me back to my Maya days. I forget how multi-talented everyone here is. Like, all of y'all have dabbled in software. I love it. Toda says, if you add length, make sure the inner seam, the cut, stays the same size. I agree. I've already seen that problem and I don't know how to fix it, but you're right. Toda, why did you post this like screaming cat in the Discord? Someone new here. Very cool. All right. And then number 2 will bring you to like the front view really quickly. Okay, yeah, so cool. So that's how it's gonna make it more of like a drape forward versus like this. Okay. Interesting. So if I make the entire size, I really still want to make this outer circle bigger, but nothing else. I don't know how to do that. Oh, it's kind of working. No, it's not. Toda says, I love you, Mia, but this hurts to watch. Just know I'm cheering you on. That was rude. I disagree. I think a lot of this is actually going really well. Also, I'm actually very proud that this ended up being the same as this, able to do those cuts in those lines. I just don't know how to select these internal lines. You got this. I do. I also trying to do something very specific. That's why it's fun. Like when you watch a tutorial and you're like, you know, a little bit of software, you're like, oh, I got this. And then you go to do it and you're like, ooh, it's the specifics. They're like, I don't know the specific button for that. I do like all the folds. I just don't know how to make it flatter. I'm gonna see what it even looks like when I start playing with these different dimensions and stuff here. It is gonna change the whole as well, unfortunately. But it might get a little bit flatter. Kinda wanna see. The big thing when you're learning something new is you gotta know what you're even trying to do. And I definitely do. I'm not doing it. But whenever I try something, it's doing what I expect it to, and that makes me really happy. I just don't know how to select these outside lines right now. That does look really cool. So I know how to make like a asymmetrical, like a high-low skirt. That's cool. I wonder if I can convert this to something flat instead. I'm not gonna need that circle skirt anymore. Like it'd probably be easier just to reconstruct it again. But I think what I had it way back with like the rectangular patterns or panels is gonna be more accurate to having this like flat. And then this, I might actually end up keeping for the outside layer instead. Yeah, what if I deleted that? Because this is kind of reminding me of this outside section instead. So I'm gonna click Z for that pattern. Ooh, I think I can make these so they like respect each other as symmetrical. Yeah, here we go, symmetric pattern with sewing. So supposedly now if I change one side, it will also, there we go, check that out. It also changed the other. It also really busted the simulation. So we'll do a small change, simulate, small change, simulate. Check that out. Oh, that's cool. And then adding more curve points will also make my life a little bit easier here. And I know I can add more points with X. And it should do symmetric because I was able to enable that. Yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. So check this out. I have way more control and kind of more of an idea of how I want to do this. So technically this is going to be the outside layer. I actually want to make this black instead. very cool. Coda says, please watch a quick tutorial on the UI. I promise it will help, love. I won't judge. Please watch any tutorial. You guys are being rude. And Frisk says, watching people learn any software when you have experience in it is its own fun. I will say it's funny for like bigger creators. Everyone's flooding the chat with tips and advice, and it's conflicting. Oh, I know, I get that. Guys, I've watched tutorials on this. If you don't know anything, it would be a lot shorter of a stream, I'll tell you that. Dota asks, do you have it strengthened or is it just orange? I changed the fabric type to orange. You can see that right here. And yes, I know, I actually know what strengthened means too. Speaking of, you do want to change the color of it. You select the fabric, and there you go. You got a million different colors you can pick from here. I like that kind of has this like diluted options for you already without anything being too saturated. So there you go. Now it is a different color. Kind of like a brownish black. I like that. Right now I'm debating if I want to just mock this up in ZBrush instead. I think you guys are getting confused and a little impatient, which is totally fine. Because again, the stream partly, it's just a fun thing. But if it's going to turn into something else, then I'll just do it in ZBrush instead. For the bodice, I did try something kind of fun last night that I started playing with this new tool. You can also draw patterns directly onto the body, which I think is something they released just a few years ago, which is pretty cool. Where was it? I think it was under 3D Pen. I was playing with that last night. Here we go, yeah. So 3D Pen garments, check this out. So it's gonna populate in the 2D viewer as well. So I'm gonna keep like the bodice, like the corset part, and then like the actual like bustier separate. But check this out. I was trying this yesterday. It was pretty cool. Yeah, 3D pen, garment. Oh, it's not doing the thing. Ooh, 3D pen avatar. That's right, 3D pen garment will be on something that's already pre-existing. So you can like, you know in ZBrush I can mask things and extract them? You can do the same thing in this pretty much. Instead of masking, you like draw out the pattern and then it'll create it in 2D viewer. All right, so in this case, we're going from the avatar, so it's 3D pen avatar, not garment. So like this. And then check this out, you're gonna see it. There we go. And then we click flatten, that's what's gonna make it appear in the 2D viewer. So you click it, press enter, let it take a second, and there you go. So obviously my simulator is just gonna fall on the floor. Well, it's actually typically tucked under the belt, so it's not gonna fall on the floor, but pretty close to. But this is really cool because you can start this to kind of like the way that you would drape on a mannequin. So let me zoom in here. Move this up. And then I'm actually gonna create a new fabric. So these are different colors, so it's a little easier to see. So let's select this. And we're gonna change the fabric to the white one, just so it's a little easier to see. And then here, so if it's actually a corset, it would actually be two different lines. I can go ahead and go to internal line, right here, enter. And then we're gonna want these to be separate pieces, separate panels. But I'm gonna do cut and sew still. Here we go. And I can select both of these and also make this a symmetric pattern with sewing. Oh, it's not mirrored yet, so it's not gonna wanna do that. Monkey's still here. Hello, hello. Reaper said, learn at your own pace, don't mind us. I get you. Toda, girl, we just want to see you succeed. I get you. But bye, Monkey. Thanks for stopping in. Yeah, say hello to the spawn. There's a big difference between like, oh, try like this means this direction versus like watch a tutorial. I'm like, that's rude. Does that make sense? I'm very direct. If I read something that's kind of like rude, I'm gonna tell you. If you say that to someone else, you might really hurt their feelings. You know what I mean? Yeah. Also, my intention is not for this to be like a sewable garment. Something I want to show you guys that's really, really cool. I had this earlier in the in our Discord here. Because last week I actually started playing around with armor. Because you can use Marvelous to make armor. Obviously, it's not the same way like a blacksmith would go about it, right? And I really, this is in our Discord right now. I recommend reading through this, it's really cool. She really goes over using this software to create the look that you want as opposed to just doing things proper. You can get really cool results by doing things wrong. Does that make sense? Obviously this is like traditional proper construction. She has so many cool things here. But anyway, she kind of bent the rules and she was able to make this in Marvelous. How cool is that? So on a lot of this, it's what I mentioned earlier, if you can strengthen your materials or you can set the fabric to full grain leather and get a pretty stiff effect, you can then later texture to look like metal, which is just freaking cool. Also, yeah, she's complaining about like skimpy bikini armor and that's why she made this. But yeah, this is so cool to like see the pattern she had laid out here. How interesting is that? And again, some of it's actually still quite correct and quite usable, but obviously others not so much. Like if you were to sew this, it wouldn't actually end up looking like this. Someone mentioned this is actually more of like how like a cosplayer would approach it as opposed to like a blacksmith that would, you know, literally hammer out this metal armor. But it's a lot of just offset lines and then tacking them together with these rivets, which is really cool. I didn't understand this as much. She's talking about like fold angles, because I haven't done a whole lot with that yet. But that's how she's getting this pinch versus this crease look. I'm gonna re-put this in the Discord in case you guys wanna look for it here. But there we go. All right, that's now in the Discord. You're welcome to check it out. Empress says, I arrived a little late. Might have gone over it, but how are we approaching the construction? As of right now, we are mostly just kind of like practicing moving through Marvelous and just getting comfortable is the biggest thing. The answers are online. That's the best part. Like if you want to like really replicate a garment, you can find the pattern online. Todar has already shared a couple of really helpful spot on ones. All right, what else are my goals for this? So the first hour here I've kind of spent playing around in Marvelous. I think I'm going to draft up the rest of this in ZBrush. That way I have something I can share with my students. But I still had a lot of fun with this. Toda says, I sincerely apologize if it came across any other way. No, you're okay. I think it was like a chain effect. Look over and I'm like, again, it was like a little chorus of everyone like, watch any tutorial. I'm like, come on guys. I even like said at the beginning of the stream that I'm just here to kind of learn and have fun. I guess it was more kind of like, how do I put this? I'm trying to think. I've made almost like a language metaphor in my head, but that got too lengthy. I'm like running through in my head. So because communication is hard, right? I get that. I guess it was almost like as if I didn't know anything about the software, and I'm like, that's obviously not true. And I do also have a background in sewing. There's a lot of different ways, not different ways to sew necessarily, but like that can mean a lot of different things too. That's more so what I meant. All right, moving on. I also know that things can come across so weird when just over text. I totally get that. And I know you guys are sweeties. I was just like, oh my God, I think you would cause, it really hurt someone's feelings. Because I'm like, this is surprising me. It's coming across a little sideways. I can't imagine as someone that's like being vulnerable and like streaming and not used to it. Because I know what you guys mean. I know you guys are just being sweet. All right, let's get this up here and let's get some of this blocked out so that way my students have something to play with. I hope that made sense. All right, let's open up my starting file here. Oh, actually I already have one called Start Asset. There it is. And this is fun because I kind of made it like a blacked out mannequin. It's been fun working like this. Reaper's like, I had to fuel the fire because I'm a gremlin. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, goodness. All right, so the garment here is black and my mannequin's also ink black. So if it's hard to see, I will probably just make it more of like a charcoal gray and we'll kind of play with it from there. All right, what's interesting with this is a lot of it's gonna be similar to how you construct things in Marvelous, just without simulation. So we're gonna start in the same order that we did things in Marvelous because I just think that's funny. But I'm in a software I'm fluent in. So we'll actually have some stuff I can share with y'all. There we go. And then I am gonna adjust the body here as well. So that way it's tucked in. Without like, the goal isn't like super distort her, it's just so that it is more workable. There we go. Just like a straight leg pose instead of like blocked out. It really reminds me of like weird Barbie cutouts. Anyway. All right, so we have that initial layer here, and then to make the outer layer, you simply duplicate it. I'm actually gonna inflate just a touch here. And then I'm gonna use the taper tool, and that's gonna do a lot of the heavy lifting for us. And again, I'm gonna figure out what outer color I wanna do here so that way it's still readable. Probably just go with a lighter gray. All right, now go with our Z modeling tool, and we'll use this to select the inside. And then we can hide just that section. There we go. I'm gonna turn on double so we can see both sides. And now add some more fabric here. I think I can use the ZBrush and extrude a outside loop to add more material, but flat. I don't know if that's gonna work, but I'm gonna try. I think that's where I went wrong earlier. I'm just talking through my process. Does that make sense? Okay. Extrude edge loop. Check that out. Isn't that cool? And so it gets that effect without having to fuss with it too much, and that can polish by features, and it kind of gets that nice draping look too. I do want this to be a little bit larger. There we go, inflate. ZBrush felt a little laggy there, so I'll save this just in case. We'll call it Halloween Ball Gown, October 7th. There we go. All right, so that's kind of the base of that. Let's keep it going. think I can get away with a darker color here and it'll still look good. Yeah, very cool. All right, let's get those hip pieces here. Same kind of deal, we're gonna mask our base and then extract. And then for like this filigree small stuff, we're actually gonna use a curve brush for that, but make sure it's like tapered and whatnot. And I'll show you guys how to do that in just a moment. There we go. I'm using Shift F to see the poly frame, also because it's showing a different color. So it kind of makes my life a little bit easier as well. There we go. Make sure she's put away back here. There we go. And let's do that curve brush trick I was talking about. So select your curve brush, go to stroke, curve functions, or no, I always get this wrong. Curve modifiers. Make sure size is enabled. Flip this graph, and that just means that as length continues, size decreases. And there you go. Also have your picker set to continuous, that way it actually sticks to your mesh. We're gonna select this outer layer, pick the same orange as the inside, and just draw away. It's kind of like the filigree that I did on a few videos ago. Little details like this add so much. There we go. And what's cool is they're all different like pieces of a mesh, so you can edit those even further later down the road. All right, let's do the same thing, but now for this inside part here. So we're gonna flip the color. And this I'm gonna do without symmetry. There we go. And then we also have more of these leaves, and I thought it might be worth modeling one of those. And then the big thing is making sure it's heavier up here, because again, you just want to get the overall look of it. It's kind of the fun of doing these blockouts. There we go. All right, got a little bit of detail. Let's add a little bit of fabricable detail. There we go. Apply. Subdivide those. Ooh, we got something funny going on right here. What is this? Oh, that was from earlier. Ah, we got some weird stitch topology. Not a problem, I can fix that. Oh, interesting. It's actually, okay, what happened here is I brought the ZModeler brush and extruded loops. I had nanomesh selected briefly, so it has one singular instance of nanomesh on here. I was gonna say, I was like, what the heck is that? I now know what that is. All I have to do is do auto groups. It's gonna clear that out, and then re-enable dynamic. There you go. I'm gonna say, I was like, I don't remember adding you. There we go. All right, starting to come together slowly but surely. And then I'm not gonna add that many fabric folds on this inside one here. All right, let's move right along here. And I think what I'm gonna do next is actually the sleeves. I'm also gonna adjust the mannequin here to look a little bit more like our reference because it's gonna affect how the sleeves drape as well. I really recommend that you do similar if you have the same goal is what I'm doing here. Also worth noting that in Marvelous you can change the pose there as well. If you hold Shift X, it's going to show all of the bones. And then you can drape stuff according to the pose. What's even cooler is you can actually create animations, not so much like animations in Character Creator 4 and import them in, like a keyframe. That is how I made the Roman Senator for the latest M3DM Monday release. What is that? There we go. I was like, that was not reacting the way I expected it to. And again, this isn't to be perfect. There we go. Just so we can drape the sleeves in a way that looks a little nicer. There we go. All right, now for the sleeves. I'm gonna mask this section here and extract. It's a lot of just mask and extract. And then Paint asked me, how did you get the posing tool again? Oh, for Marvelous Designer, Shift X. That will only work if you have an avatar that does have bones in it. It's possible to have one that does not. I can pull that up, and again, once I'm done getting this a little more blocked out. There we go, Tron double again. And then I like especially long dramatic sleeves, so I'll probably exaggerate that a little more than the base design. There we go. Perfect. Oh, there we go. There's an insert and mesh that was happening earlier. So instead, I'm going to do extrude poly loop and just extrude a couple lines. Again, we're having a fun time just kind of get this blocked out. we go. All right, now for the bodice. And then similar to how I do this in Marvelous, it's gonna be 2 separate pieces. We're gonna have the corset part and then this like, kind of like an, what is it called? I don't know, I'm like blanking on it. Like an under boob corset. It's called something. I can't remember what it's called. And you're gonna have that as a separate piece versus this little ruche top. Actually, like in the design here, it's not ruched, but I might make mine ruched. There we go. And then the mannequin here is like especially exaggerated proportions, particularly snatched. Mine's not going to be quite that exaggerated, but that would help with the readability of the design. Which, fun fact, is partly why models are so tall. Literally just to show more of a garment. We're gonna make a third piece here. Maybe it kind of has like this like out exterior, like almost armor like section. Paint says, do you think it's worth getting Marvelous for posing at the level I am right now? No, no, no. Marvelous designing is no. You can start rigging stuff in Blender. I'm saying that you can pose your model in Marvelous to then get like a more accurate like fabric simulation, but it's not like a software where you can rig and pose your models necessarily, but you can put information like from an FBX onto it. But no, that's not what it is for. Pose in ZBrush. Get used to the masking initially. Even if you want to play with Z-spheres, I can tentatively recommend that to some extent. Your best bet though is, if you really want to get comfortable with like posing and rigging, is just to download Blender. Sorry if I misspoke earlier and that was unclear. Because it's like, well, you just said you can pose and Marvelous. I'm like, yes, but it's not like, it's not weighted or anything. It just has like bones that you can like move around like an action figure kind of thing. But you can break the mesh if you're not really comfortable with like anatomy and like the way our actual like possible range of motion, that kind of stuff. It will let you break it. You don't want that. You, Blender. I'm laughing. I'm seeing what you put in Discord paint. All right, getting this just drafted out. It's looking pretty good. You want to have any questions? Or is all making pretty good sense? Paint says, I'm smooth brain right now. Reaper says, compared to usual. Shut it. No, I think you guys are sweet. I love that. I love that you guys are goofy on the stream too. I think you guys were trying to be silly earlier with Marvelous too. It just didn't come across as goofy. I don't know. I think it's because I was so clear, like at the beginning of the stream, I was like, hey, like I just want to learn. I think it's fun for me to show my learning process on stream. And then like in comments, like it's painful to watch and like a watch tutorial. Like even if they're in jest, those are pretty heavy handed. You know what I mean? Like it's something that's a little more, what is it? Not context. Not cadence. You know, like the tone in your voice kind of thing, like really carries a lot of that, and it's just lost over text, which I should know. I do know that you guys are sweeter than that and whatever. Just really threw me off guard. It really did. I wasn't expecting it. But that's on me as a streamer to like be comfortable and to know better. So I kind of just took a second, kind of kept sculpting, and I was like, God, why did that feel so bad? And now I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. But on the plus side, I think you guys are great, and I am super clear. I'm not going to secretly just be like, oh, they hear my feelings, I'm never going to stream again. Like, no, I'll tell you. And that's, I even said at one point, I read one of them, like, that was rude. And then you guys kept going, and I was like, okay. I do know better, though. I am on the internet. Yeah, smooth brain today. No, you guys are so sweet. Oh my God, you're fine. Empress said, I'm so sorry if I may contribute to that. I'm like, no, you're fine. Oh, Tota's still here. Oh, thank fuck. Tota said, this is looking great. I know. Oh my God, you guys are sweet. No, we're fine. I'm glad everyone heard that. That was here. Contributes. The lore continues. You guys were joking, and I took it really serious, even though you were like, we're joking. But I don't know. Smooth brain. All right, we're continuing. You guys are fine. Okay, what else do I want to do with this? I really just want to have it blocked out enough so then you guys can kind of play with it. That's the whole point of it, is just to kind of like vibe on these streams, try out techniques I wouldn't normally, softwares I wouldn't normally, and then give my students access to the same ZPR, so if they load it up, they kind of play around with it. Obviously, it's not like game ready or anything, like, or even 3D print ready. Like, this is actually pretty thin. This is pushing it for 3D printing. But it's just to have it, so then like if you take it, you can be like, oh, what if instead of having it black, I made this white and I duplicated it 3 times. Speaking of, that's a really fun thing to do that I can't stress enough, guys. Like, for my students that have access to these files, like, just take stuff, duplicate it, and then move it around. Stuff starts looking really cool. Like, that's one of my favorite things to do, and I'm not trying to follow like a reference, but just like riffing. This especially works well for armor. But I mean, honestly, it works well for everything. There we go. There we go. All right, let's get this back to that darker color. And let's do a little bit of a lighter section. I need to get all this painted. It's always worth looking in your like subtools to see like, oh, is there actually poly paint on that, or do I just have it matching the selector? Which I get away with for a long time, and then I change my selector color and I'm like, nothing's painted. All right, here we go. Paint says, why does this look like a witch who's going to attack me with gourds? Where are you getting gourds? Like pumpkins? I don't hate that. I think that's fun. Emperor said, I'm stealing the sleeves. Oh, absolutely. Oh, maybe I'll make them a little nicer then. Because look, we got, this is not cute. And all I have to do is ZBrush by same. Boop. Still not great. So we're gonna subdivide once, and then smooth, and then ZBrush again. What I'm looking for is like an even-ish quads around the edges. Yeah, that's fine. That's better. There we go. Oh, do you guys have questions? I can answer questions in ZBrush, especially. Like, if you guys are curious how anything is being done, it's mostly just mask and extract. It's mostly just looking at this and thinking, okay, how do I want to get those same shapes? How do I want to get that look? There we go. Rotate. Pumpkin's a type of gourd, right? I think so. I think there's a U in gourd, too. I'm not certain on that, actually. That might be like a British spelling. I don't really want to detail this a whole lot right here. So I'm kind of just vibing right now. I want all the pieces to be here still. Oh, I definitely need to name all these subtools. I'm going to be sharing it with you guys. So let me go ahead and do that. Shoulder. Emperor says, I'm mostly interested in refining the mask to extract method. Oh, okay, yeah, I got you. Essentially, every time that you mask and extract, make sure you're at 0 thickness and then ZRemesh with half turned on. If you get weird, funny business going on, you might have been too low poly. If it takes forever to get low poly, you can always decimate as like a little shortcut. That's fine. Like, this is the season to make clothes. It really is. And then Paint says, I just can't English. You're okay. Oh yeah, Paint, I'm excited. I'm gonna review your model on a different day if you want. But if you don't need me to have the ZPR, I can do it now. I don't have a ton of notes. Up to you, Paint. I can do that now, or I can do that later when I have the ZPR. Totally up to you. Doesn't mean I'm gonna do like a full sculpt over or anything. It just might be a little easier to understand what I'm saying with a visual. Because communication's hard. Paint said 100% down for now, but I'll send you ZPR later if that works. Peek. Now or later. Because if you want to do later, I don't need the ZPR then. Oh, I guess I could look at the poly count and stuff later. Okay, yeah. We'll do some now as well. All right, here is this lovely model that Paint has been working on, and my goodness, what a little, like a freaking big level up from Paint. Let me go ahead and show you. Duke said dress is looking good. Has stepped away for an email meeting. Not a problem. What is an email meeting? Oh, duh. A meeting that could have been an email. I imagine you guys were all just sitting in a room sending each other emails, and I was like, why? Email meeting. All right, I have this up. I'm gonna grab Paint's reference because that is very relevant. There it is. Okay. Paint specifically requested that I give a hard critique, so that's what I'm gonna do. Doesn't mean I'm gonna be a jerk. Just means I'm gonna point out as much as I can. All right, we'll start from like the top down. The distance between the antlers and the top of his head are about 2 heads. So see his head right here? You can stack it on top of itself again, and that is where the top of the antlers stop. For yours, the antlers are much, much shorter. So just make those antlers taller and you'll be much closer to your reference. The other big thing is the structure of the wings. So see right here, again, wings are just like a big arm. So this part, this is like your shoulder. Here is the elbow. This is like the wrist. That's kind of how you can think of it. And then feathers. You kind of have this bump here instead, like 2 different sections of wings, which isn't quite how wings work. So just really make sure that you have that top muscle here. Here we go. Probably why I like this software a lot, because I can do a really quick draw over too. So what I'm talking about is this right here. See, little chicken wing. Yeah. So don't forget about that. We don't have that on yours. And again, a visual for the head. We have this section here, and then, ooh, that's an arrow. I don't even know how I'm doing that. It's about the same size. So again, head here, versus yours, there's not enough room for another entire head. The hair block out is great. I'm really proud of you there. If you want, you can fluff it up more. Part of what makes it like that fun, messy look is these little sections right here, of which yours doesn't have. It's just really smooth. Again, that's just nitpicking. What else? What else? Oh, I also like on the original here, you'll notice that the perimeter of the shirt is quite messy and it has like a bagginess effect versus yours actually, it's quite smooth. So just take some of the material out here on the waistband. You kind of have like the shrink wrap bodysuit thing happening, which is really common when you're just starting to use making garments and whatnot. So just pulling that away from the body and letting that bunch over. You can do that by masking. You can use, I would use dam standard, like a really heavy dam standard, like high intensity, like strike out, and it'll pull some material forward, and that'll be easier to kind of manipulate and work. You'll get more of those overlaps. Another thing here too is you can't, it's kind of hard to tell. This shape right here, this piece right here, you have it sloping upwards, but it actually kind of pulls more away and gives him, it's a very like flattering triangle kind of shape. So if you have these lines right here, instead of tapering in, they actually kind of push out. It'll be a little bit more flattering, but that's pretty small beans. The next big thing I really want to talk about is the way that you handled the hair. It kind of makes his legs just look a little like lumpy. What would have been easier is if you mask the section in ZBrush, extract it, and then there you go. You'll have this a blob you can then texture fur off to and blend into the leg. Again, subtools on subtools on subtools. It's always more subtools, isn't it? But on a serious note, instead of, it'll prevent your legs from looking lumpy, and they'll give you a clear division between what is hair and what is skin. And then Paint mentions it goes over the wing, the strip. Yeah, right here. Even so, it wouldn't taper in so much. Like I'm mostly talking about the angle right here. That is cool that it flips all the way backwards. Okay, and that same tip out the hair would also apply for the arm hair. I'd make his hands a bit bigger. I think they're a little small here proportionally. And then his waist is also a bit smaller. Yours, a character is just a bit wider in general, which is fine for 3D printing. You might want that actually. But he is a bit more lanky here. And when you pose him, especially, make sure you get this like kind of like hunch that he has going on. It's a big part of like the personality. The last big thing is this, which I believe is feathered. Kind of look into that. This bit of trim right here. Again, on yours, it's kind of like smooth and blobbier. You might want to texture that like small feathers and kind of give it a bit of that volume. It's kind of up to you how you want to do that. What else? I'm kind of just looking at the shape. I'm not too picky on, like yours is wider right here. It doesn't have much of a U shape on the bottom, but you haven't posed it yet. And that's going to depend on the way that it falls afterwards. So that's fine. You did a good job getting all the main components here. I really had to be picky and think about it. I do like on the original where this piece overlaps this others. On yours, you have it symmetrical. So you don't have this line continuing across. It's not showing an overlap. His has like what's like top like a kimono where it's like with like one piece of fabric over the other piece of fabric versus yours is like a shirt. That might have been intentional, might not, just want to point it out. But overall, good work, seriously. Yeah, he paints it, I think it's fur rather than feathers, but yeah, it was weird. Yeah, I get you, I can't super tell either, but it's a nice little bit of texture. Empress Paint said, you want to see my work? Boom, I'm a professional now, right? Quite the level up, I'm very proud of Paint. Good job, good job. Well, that is everything I had for you. Seriously, good freaking work. Very proud of you. I am delighted to be part of your guys's, you know, just learning journey in general. Art's tricky. Just keep at it. I think that was a really good note to end on. I don't really have a whole lot of detail on this, but we have kind of like just the blocked out shape, and I am happy with that. Do a little quick screenshot here. And I will have that shared with students. Again, today's is not super detailed, but there are some nice blocked out pieces there that you can kit bash and kind of have fun with. I'm going to save this as a Z tool. And I'm going to name everything. That would be nice, otherwise not super usable. If you guys have any last minute questions, now would be the time to ask. All right, got this sleeve. We're gonna call that upper sleeve. Again, the names aren't great, but it's better than nothing. Paint said, Mia, also a big part of it is I had so much fun with it, not making it a job, but rather a fun project. Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. Again, the attitude on it is honestly more important than what you end up with. If you get really picky, you know, and like that, especially because this is your second project, because your first one was that skeleton guy, the more you get picky and bogged down in the details before you even have like the fundamentals, you stop playing, you stop experimenting, and it stops being fun. And then you're just gonna stop doing it entirely. And nobody wants that. So I'm very proud of you, Paint. What a turnaround. Because again, the first project you had was tricky. You know, it's hard to know when to move on. And you had some of that resistance that Empress had too. And both of you, honestly, by the time you went to your second, it was quite, I don't know, you guys just like let go a bit and really started having fun, which for me is, you know, as a teacher is just, I couldn't want more. So very good. All right, that is a wrap. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I'll be streaming again, I think tomorrow, and then again Friday, if I remember this correctly. This is why I have to post a stream schedule, otherwise I will not remember. Yes, tomorrow. Yes. Here is the stream schedule we have for this week. And a cute little graphic. And yeah, I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Take care. If you need me, I'll be in the Discord. And that's everything. All right, I'll see y'all later. Bye.